leadership, weak political leadership. The fiscal consolidation that it has achieved has been pointed out. But here I would like to say you ought to see very carefully and compare what the states have achieved, which I shall revert to in a minute, as compared to what the centre is doing. So I won't label what the survey says because it's your document, you know it very well. The inflation is the tax which again I must underline here before coming to again. Now, this survey, a brief review of this survey and the issues that brings us to the issues that are contained in the fiscal document of your budget presentation. That again I ask, sir, what is the central thought that is inspired by your statement of fiscal policy? It is fiscal consolidation and deficit. Now, you know very well, sir, that the total deficit we are talking of, centre and state, crosses 9%. At about 9% of fiscal deficit, it is a ruinous state. You cannot refute the logic, the economic logic of such high and unsustainable fiscal deficit for a subcontinent like India, which is in reality a continental economy. But here I submit to you, sir, as I just hinted earlier, permit me to point out that the states have actually performed better than the centre has performed. The aggregate of the states informs me that they have concentrated on capital accounts. You have it examined, Mr. Finance. Whereas the centre seems to be concentrating on consumption and revenue accounts. I earnestly address you for an examination of this and for a correction of that. The state fiscal deficits have come down. They are concentrating on capital account, and the centre is concentrating on consumption. It ought to be the other way around. This is a... So I wish also to point out one other great deficiency of the centre, which is credibility. No government can deliver goods and manage the economy of a country unless it has credibility. So there is an erosion of national confidence. I don't say it only as good, because events are criticizing. There is an erosion of national confidence because there is a great fall from the government in the criteria of truth-telling. Please tell us the truth. When we point out issues, it's not only to find fault, because unless we examine issues truthfully, we cannot move forward. Let's speak, sir, of animal spirits. I wish to talk, the issue of taxation ought really to be addressed in the discussion on finance bill. That's how I address this question. Larger issues of economic management are what we address in debate on the budget or the finance minister's speech. But if there is one issue that I wish to point out, that's about retrospective legislation. Now, I don't for a moment deny your government or any government. If there is X, Y, or Z with a liability of about 10,000 crores of taxes, no government can lightly take such a tax liability lightly. And therefore the need arises. And then, sir, what I urge you, sir, to examine, I'm told, perhaps I'm wrong on figures, this is not an advocacy of any one particular case or another. This is an advocacy of the principle of it. I'm told, sir, that in this budget there are about 17 instances of retrospective legislation. That is, if it is correct that there are, then it's a profligate number. Secondly, there is the aspect, having conceded the government's right to recover what is obviously wrong, it's every government's right, and the government must do it. But there is a simultaneous moral hazard in this. If you apply this to corporate bodies, law will require you to apply it to individuals. Corporate bodies have more fat, individuals have less fat. That is why, whereas please do go and collect taxes which you believe legitimately to be the dues of the government, please address this question also from the angle of the moral hazard that citizens will face. So I go to what I think is a critical challenge for the country. The other day we had a debate here, impromptu, on poverty figures. I'll come back to this question in a minute with agriculture, but the essential, central quest of any government in India has to be not just lowering of poverty figures, actually to eliminate the dehumanizing quotient of poverty. Rather than repeat everything here, let me leave this thought here only to revert. But agriculture. I submit to you, sir, कृषि, agriculture. कृषि, भादक्षी, भारत में मात्र जीविका उपार्जन का साधन नहीं है। कृषि एक जीवन शैली है। ये केवल भारत ही में जीवन शैली है। इट इज कृषि। कृषि से ही हमारे सांस्कृतिक व्यवहार, हमारे त्योहार, हमारे गीत गायन सब कृषि से उपजते हैं। इसको केवल जीविका उत्पादन, इसीलिए तो कहावत है उत्तम खेती मध्यम वाण अदम चाकरी भीख निदान। कृषि is central to India. It is central not economically, where it is just about 15.1% of the GDP contribution. It is central because it has given, not because also because almost 3/4 of India lives in villages, but it is central because it is the fountainhead of our cultural consciousness. Now, I just said, sir, that though it gives about 15.7% of the GDP, that's what it gave in 2009-10. It's about half our workforce, 32.1%. But we have, Mr. Deputy Chairman, the largest cattle wealth in the world. We have the largest arable landmass in the world, more than the United States of America, almost twice that of China. We are about 288 million hectares. China is really what the Chinese paintings depict, about 144 million. We have second largest number of sheep, camel, goat. This is all wealth. And yet, sir, it's a matter of great disappointment to me that in terms of production per acre or per hectare, or production per cow, head of cow, or production of wool per sheep, we are very low. I have often pointed out, and a very eminent former Chief Minister of Himachal, very eminent minister of this government who is sitting here, he would accept what I say. Almost 65% of the horticulture produce of Himachal rots either on the trees or on the ground. Number of times, number of governments have spoken of warehousing